Hi, folks. Welcome to the program, All About Cars. My name is Ralph Medeiros. I own and operate Ralph's Auto Center located on Church Street, 867 Church Street in the north end of New Bedford. We're just off of Exit 5 off of Route 140. Very easy to get to. And you can call us here at 9960-500, 9960-500. We can talk about whatever's on your mind. Sorry, I'm running a few minutes late today. I don't know. It seems when I plan to be here early, I'm late. When I make no plans, I'm on time. So I can't figure it out. But I got delayed this morning, and I apologize for that. Such is life. But you can give us a call here. We can talk about whatever's bugging you today. Andrew's at the shop today. If you want to go by and talk cars, he's there. You can talk to him in the showroom. We have a great selection of used automobiles. If you have access to a computer, look us up at ralphscars.com, ralphscars.com. And that's a partial listing of the inventories we have. And if you're, today we're getting into spring. It seems to be warming up a bit more. It's, it's up and down, but, we're heading in the right direction. And if you're tired of your old car and it got through a relatively easy winter, and if you just want to upgrade it and not break the bank account, you should come by and see us. We specialize in cars from $4,000 to $15,000, SUVs and trucks up to $20,000 that we stock, and we bring in cars and trucks that cost considerably more if you want them. Most of our customers prefer payments. Well, to be honest, most of these folks today want a car payment between $150 and $250, and they usually come prepared. Most folks have a few dollars put aside for down payment and taxes and registration, and they plan it, and we help you get financed with, preferably through local credit unions here in New Bedford. There's several of good ones, and the rates are more reasonable, and they work with people. They're more to help out working folks in these difficult times. So if you work with us, we can make sure you get into a good quality car at the right price and help you get structured and financed properly. And that's how you find and find value. Okay, emotion plays a part in buying a car. You want to feel good driving something for sure, but you don't want to go broke too. Sometimes people let their emotions take over, and they take on a payment of $350, $450, $500. And they're working just for their car, and they go broke.
Well, I have to say the biggest sales pitch that I fall for is the test drive. Because when I am behind the wheel of like a new vehicle, not like a new vehicle, but a new to me vehicle.
Well, yeah,
I just feel like I want it. I just want it.
Right. Well, that's why I say the emotion takes over.
Anytime I borrow somebody else's car, I'm like, you're not getting this car back till I test it out.
Last night I was at an event, a fundraiser for the Immigrants Assistance Center, and so was several hundred other people at the Whaling Museum. It was a very, very nice event, I might add. Multi-million-dollar view looking up out the third floor there of their new expansion of the building. It's beautiful. But on the way home, I had the radio on, and I heard this auto dealer, I think out of the Providence market, saying if you only have $350 a week income, you can borrow a car, buy a car up to $35,000. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute.
You just won't have money for food.
Right. $1,400 a month? Figure it out. And that's gross now, folks. That's your gross pay. And you're going to buy a $35,000 car? Talk about being buried. It's like the rest. It's like the whole country, for that matter. And you're going to be just working for your car. You're right. You're right, Matt. You're going to have
I guess you could live in it.
2 of your weekly paychecks go just for your car payment.
If the trunk's big enough, I guess you could sleep in it.
So they and that's, they say actually, if you listen to some economists, that one of the concerns right now, other than college loans, that's over $1 trillion, is the subprime debt on automobile sales right now. They watch that like a hawk as far as the default rate, and to see whether, or even a delinquency, see how late they are. Okay, if you're past 90 days, it's being watched very closely because of the economic conditions we're in. A lot of people are into cars, driving new or newer cars that shouldn't be, or they really can't afford them, but they're in them anyway, and they struggle to make the payments. And of course, the car dealers don't care if they get them financed and they're bought; they're on somebody else's book. So it's the way life goes. We got a caller here. A very good afternoon to you, caller.
Ralphie.
Billy.
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
All right.
Good.
How you doing?
Well, I'm doing okay. I'm trying to just, run less, walk more, I guess, so to speak,
Well, you know that little thing on the 17th of the month?
This 17th of the month.
Yeah, you remember.
Now you got me. My brain isn't
You were
functioning.
supposed to come by.
Oh, yes.
That's been postponed. I'll let you know why and when it's get scheduled again.
Okay, fair
All right.
enough. Okay, I got you now. I'm with you.
Okay, all right. Now, can I make an announcement?
Yes.
Tomorrow at the VFW in Freetown at 12 o'clock, all car people, clubs, invited. They're going to discuss all the cruises and the shows and etc.
Okay.
tomorrow
Now what?
at 12 o'clock at the VFW in Freetown.
Okay. Now what group is this again, Billy?
The Downshifters is putting it on.
Oh, the Downshifters. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're putting on a group meeting, in other words, right?
Yeah, anybody wants to come and get an old car or another club wants to come and make some suggestions or get some other points of it,
Yep.
everybody can have their say so.
Yeah. Okay.
All right?
Yep. So that's the right on 18, correct?
Yeah, right.
Right before Camp Cathedral, correct?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Okay. Almost across from Bowler's Garage, I think, or not far from it.
Very close to it.
Yeah.
Kitty corner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know it. It's just trying to make it a visual
Yeah.
imprint on somebody's.
There, plenty of parking.
Yeah, somebody might not be aware of where it's at. Yeah, I went there for a training seminar on mechanical computers and things like that, on automobiles. They had one there one time.
Mm-hmm.
Not that long ago, actually.
And then on the 16th, at the same VFW in Freetown, starting at 10 a.m. in the morning, it's Welcome Home the Troops.
No, welcome home the troops.
Yep.
On what day is this?
This is on the 16th.
Which is a
Saturday.
A Saturday. Okay.
Starting at 10 a.m.
So they're putting that on the VFW itself, then, correct?
Yes.
And they're going to welcome home the troops from Iraq and Afghanistan and wherever else.
Anybody interested, veterans, whatever, everybody's welcome.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a deal.
Yeah. All right, so we get that out of the way, Ralph.
Yep.
You ever get rid of that Lincoln?
Yes, sir, we did.
Oh, boy.
Fellow came in and bought it, and he's very happy. His wife or girlfriend, I'm not sure, heard me talk about it, and they came in to check it out.
Very good.
Yeah, so, you like that Lincoln.
That was nice. If I didn't have the caddy, I would have got that one. That was a very nice car.
Yeah. Well, we put a lot of work into it. It had the ingredients, and it just needed a little detailing to make it a lady. So that's what we did.
Yeah, it was kind of dirty, but I seen it when it come in dirty. But when I was there the other day and I was looking around, I got in and I said, "Wow, thing smells brand new."
Yeah. Well, I'd been sitting around. Ronnie does some excellent detailing. Ronnie, our detailer, and he's an excellent reconditioner. And it's truly a trade in its own right. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
It really is. It's hard to find people who know how to detail an automobile correctly. It's a trade within itself, Billy. You know that.
It's not wham bam, thank you. You know what I mean?
No, people think you just vacuum a car out and wash it. There's this, I have so many people come in.
hose on it, and that's it.
It amazes me. A lot of people come in looking for work. Sometimes they say, "Well, I can detail cars," and they really don't have a clue.
Yeah.
You give them a buffing wheel, they're going to rip the paint off the car. I mean, you might as well give them
down to the prime or beyond.
Billy, you're better off giving them a 6-inch grinder. It'd probably come out better. I hate to say it that way, but as painful as that sounds, but it'd probably come out better. But hey, this is the state we're in.
You're right.
This is the state we're in. So hey.
So what else? Nothing new, huh, Ralph?
No. Andy's going to be on the road bringing in some cars next week. Hopefully we'll find some good automobiles because we look at a lot of cars. We don't buy we don't buy 3/4 of what we look at, to be honest with you. But that's the way it is. You just have to work hard to find the right cars. That's the way it is, Billy.
I understand, Ralph. I understand. Yeah.
They're not all equal, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So that's where the skill sets come in.
That makes it whoever got that car, that's a beauty.
Yeah.
I really like that one. That's you ain't going to get a car like that today. A new one like that. Nothing close to it.
Well, it was a diamond in the rough when we got it, and it took a little bit of work to make it real. It had been sitting a while, so, we had to detail it out. And once we got past all that...
And they had all the toys you wanted.
Yeah. That was a Signature Series.
Yeah.
So you got a good eye for cars, Billy. No, you do. I mean, it's...
Well, when I go there, I look them all over.
Yeah.
And I pick up the ones I know that ain't going to be there too long.
Yeah, well...
And I knew that one was going to go quick.
Yeah.
That's less than a week I seen it.
Yeah, you got a good eye for cars. I mean, even when you picked out that... you're not a guy into Japanese cars, but when you saw that
Oh, the Lexus, yeah.
Yeah, you saw that 400 Lexus, you said, wow, what is this car?
Well, oh, yeah. And when I drove it, I said, man, this is another one.
Yeah, that's a nice car, isn't it? Yeah, and, that 400 is a hard car to find, too, in good shape.
I haven't seen anything like that.
No, they're hard to find, Billy. We always are on the hunt for those, and we'll pay. We'll pay for cleanliness. We buy cleanliness.
Because I see a lot of Lexus running around, and they're a little cut short compared to that baby one.
Yeah, that's the small one, the 300 series,
Yeah, I mean, it looks awful to me.
Well, it's built on the Avalon chassis. That Toyota Avalon?
Yes.
That's the smaller Lexus. Of course, the larger Lexus is its car on its own.
I'm a marvelous car. What a ride.
Yeah, it is a nice ride.
Isn't that's in the category of Cadillacs and Lincolns and stuff,
Oh, no, they truly build a good automobile. There's no question about that. No question.
Well, Ralphie, all right, you ready for today, buddy?
Let's go.
All right. What do you about Avantis?
Avantis?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's an Avanti Club of America. I know that. And I think, let me be daring enough to say, I think the last, I don't think they're producing them now any longer, but I think the last ones were built in the 70s. If memory serves me right. I know they were fairly popular in the 60s, but they never really took traction, Billy.
Well,
it's always kind of a little different.
This was lost and found missing for 15 years, okay?
An Avanti?
Yep. It was a 63 Avanti R2, okay?
Yeah.
But there was something special about this car in 63. Any idea what it would be? And it was wild.
Really?
Yeah. The interior, Ralph.
Oh, the interior.
Yeah. It is wild.
Wild from Avanti? They were always kind of...
It's really bright.
Bright, huh?
Yeah.
What did they do? Was it in like orange or yellow or something?
And right in the nose, orange.
Orange, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Had to get too slick on this one.
Well, I know the Avantis. I thought you were going to hit me with what was the body made out of, or who built who?
I think you wouldn't get the interior because that's wild, bright orange interior.
What color was the outside?
Like a tan color, and the interior was orange with the bucket seats and all that, and around the dashboard and around the edges of the doors, it was the same colors outside, like a tan color.
I never found the car that attractive.
No.
The Avantis. Matt, you got one up on the screen. How does it look? Let me see. Do you have it up? Do you think that car's attractive? Call that picture up. I mean, they are. I don't know. I don't know. It almost.
I never cared for it much, but I just thought maybe you
I don't know if I like the front end.
Yeah,
orange interior.
I don't know if I'm coming or going.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Well, you know why? Because you know why that car looks that way? Because they had some rogue Studebaker holdovers that, right, Billy? Wasn't Avanti?
It's not a very handsome car.
Avanti wasn't Studebaker involved in Avanti?
Studebaker built Avanti, yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
So they're engineers, they didn't know if those cars, and they were fiberglass bodies, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
A good part of it.
Good part of it, yeah.
Yeah, it was fiberglass.
Like a Corvette, yeah.
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 So, but it never really took traction. I remember seeing them.
I never really seen many around here, and
my dad had one. I think we had come through the law. I think only one though, if I remember right. But it had that Studebaker look, Matt, in the front. You didn't know if it was.
Front was in backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it had clean lines. So you got to give them credit for that. And it had a vent window, or the side glass. I don't think the white walls did much on it for the car, but that was the style back then.
Yeah.
But and I guess they ran the Studebaker V8s in them, right?
Oh yeah, the 289.
Yeah, the Studebakers, right?
Yeah.
So but it was Billy. There were a few in New Bedford, and I think once in a while there's a car show. I think that goes on downtown that Joe Jesus puts on. I thought I saw one there a couple of years back.
Well, Studebaker went out of business around '66, remember?
Yeah, but Avanti continued on.
sure how long.
Well, not long after. I think they I don't know, Matt. Maybe Matt can look up. I think they died in like early 70s on the Avantis. But I mean, it's not. I mean, to give the car credit, I mean, it's not all bad by any means. It had a following, and it's not a bad looking car overall. I mean, you know, I know a lot worse out there. Actually, I think the Buick has taken some cues off some of those two-door Buicks they built. Look similar in the roof lines. Okay, really, I think their engineers, you know, and their body designers took some of it out. But maybe Matt can find out the year of the last Avanti. But I think they continued on to like 74.
I used to run around with one guy that had an Avanti.
Yeah.
And, in fact, he had a lot of cars, to be truthful with you.
Huh.
You know? And he had one.
Huh.
But
yeah.
I haven't seen one since, you know?
What, 91?
91 they ran it too? Wow.
Yeah.
But they weren't part of Studebaker. I think they got bought out. All right, they ran that late, Billy.
Yeah,
right?
but I don't think after 66, Studebaker was gone. The name Studebaker.
Yeah, but I think somebody in either some of the past owners of Studebaker, they kept Avanti going. Then they spun it to somebody else, and maybe Matt can find out the history. But I forgot.
It said the powertrain is Chevrolet.
Oh, no, which one? Late model?
The late models
Yeah.
From 78.
Studebaker engine.
Yeah, from 78 on, they went to Chevy,
Yeah.
GM.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question. Back in the 30s, did they ever have synchronous transmissions?
In the 30s?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
Well, not full synchro mesh. Well, maybe first gear usually wasn't synchroed, but the others were.
Which one was that again, Ralph?
The trannies wouldn't. The first gear generally wasn't synchro-meshed. When you downshifted to first, you had to be pretty much at a stop. But the other, you know, second and third usually were synchronized.
Yeah, you're right.
All right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, in those days.
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, so.
Second and third was synchronized.
Yeah, and there was very few fourths unless you're into trucks. But cars didn't have them. At least not many that more. Maybe they made a few roadsters with them, the Germans and all that. But usually first gear you had to kind of coast to a stop and shift it in, or you had to know your engine to your road speed and all that, and be able to get in without grinding a pound.
But second and third, yeah. But you know, 1939 Nash did have it.
Full sync.
Second and third, yeah.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know my dad's Chevy didn't have it. It's 39.
No. The Synchromex was. I'm surprised in the 30s that maybe some of the more expensive cars had this kind of thing going on. You know.
Yeah. Well, Synchromesh was.
Rambler and Asians have always ahead a little bit, but they never made a bit because they couldn't buck the big three.
Well, yeah, and Chrysler too, in its own right, being the small of the big three, was more, especially in the 30s. They came out with a lot of technical innovations. But Nash, you're right. Nash was and Rambler, and Studebaker too. You know, these small guys were. It's kind of like when you look at computer companies. Some of the small little labs have more inventiveness than the big myopic kind of companies, you know, that just buy them out. They have the resources to absorb them and buy them out and buy their brains and technology. The same goes on today in different industries, Billy.
But the independent guys had to put so much into their cars to try to sell them, you know?
Well, it's hard to compete against when you have GM and Ford. I mean, you look in the 70s. They sold the style, and look what they did to Tucker.
Yeah.
At the end of the war. Right.
Yeah.
Tucker was way ahead of the stream. Tucker took. Let's put it this way: Volvo took a page out of Tucker Motors and implemented safety in their cars way early in the 50s and 60s, and started selling Volvos on safety, way before the Americans ever got on a bandwagon. And Ford and GM in particular, put Tucker out of business.
Yeah, because they only made 51 of them cars.
Yeah, they had safety plate glass in Tucker cars, seat belts in Tucker cars, a headlight that followed the road as you turned the wheel.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, they were way ahead of us.
Way ahead of the times. And big company, and they put disc brakes on the cars. So,
there you go.
So, you know, the Tucker was a threat to the big guys, and they basically took them out. They had the resources.
You know, half of some of the guys that made cars worked for GM. Like Charles Nash, he was a head of that GM. Then he moved over and bought his own company.
Yeah.
Made his own company.
Imagine that today. That could never happen in this country now, with the amount of money you need, the laws, the regulations. It's just to have that kind of entrepreneurial spirit and put it together, and then deal with all the regulations and environmental unions and I mean, if you don't come in with billions on the table, forget about it.
You're right.
And what do? They don't do it here. They, for the most part, they leave.
That's why you can't get any new cars, named cars come up today. Like years ago, you had Studebaker, Nash, you had Hudson, all that. You couldn't do that today.
Well, the only place you see some of that is China. China does have some different brands.
Yeah, but I'm talking about American here.
Oh, no. The consolidation, we're down the road from that. The consolidation, is continued. Actually, they say that Chrysler Fiat, they want to look for a merger too, so they could merge to GM or someone else. You don't know how these marriages work out.
Pretty soon it's just going to be a few makes, and that's you got to buy them, and don't buy them at all.
Yeah, it'll be global.
Yeah, you're right.
And GM is very big in China already, so I think very, very big. Maybe it should be called GM China. I don't know. It used to be called Government Motors, but.
All right, buddy. I'll let somebody else talk for a while. And you did very good today.
Yeah, well, that was a guess, though, on the orange interior.
You hit on the nose, I guess.
Yeah, orange red. I said, yeah. That was. Maybe it was Freudian. I probably saw that interior, but I remember the Avantis. I remember a teal color for some reason. It was like that teal green they had.
Yep. And, but orange, that's a really striking color, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you think about it, Billy. Interiors have become so blasé now.
I know, either gray or
There are two colors. You got taupe or gray, argent gray or taupe interior.
Yeah, right.
On most new cars today, they give you a choice of two. And you got a choice of cloth or leather. Once in a while, like the Germans, though, came out with that rawhide interior you see on the Audi TTs and on some of the Jeep special editions that would have that leather color, like a glove leather. Beautiful.
Oh, let me ask you one more question.
Yeah.
Okay? AMC.
Yeah.
Come out with a beautiful station wagon. Okay?
Yeah.
It had a name, a Jeep, that Jeeps are using today. Can you guess what it was?
A name that Jeeps using today?
Off the top of my head, yeah.
AMC had it?
Yes. It was an Ambassador AMC, a 9-passenger wagon with a door you could open both ways. But it was named, the name of it is what Jeeps are using the names today.
Well, they're not the Commander, no.
No.
Jeeps, well, they have the Grand Cherokee, they have the Liberty, they have the...
What did you just say?
They have the Grand Cherokee, the Liberty, the...
Cherokee, that's what it was named. Damn, you get 2 stars today.
Yeah. Well, they had a...
Top of my head, that's what it was called.
The Cherokee? Grand Cherokee?
No, not that. The Jeep is called that.
Yeah.
But the station wagon called Classic Cherokee.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That was AMC? I don't remember that.
And, of course, they were making Jeeps and that, so...
Huh.
They took, but I'm trying to lead you on.
Yeah.
His Jeep was called Cherokee.
Yeah. They just came out with they brought the Cherokee name back out, the regular Cherokee. They got rid of the Liberty now, and they have the Cherokee, which is basically this 4-cylinder computerized transmission vehicle they come out with.
I figured you'd get this one because I lead you to a Jeep.
Yeah.
And Jeep is using that name that they used back in 1966, which was Ambassador wagon, 4-door.
Yeah.
The tailgate you could open sideways, pull it down, and that, and it was called Classic Cherokee.
So they had the 2-way tailgate. See, if I recall correctly, and maybe you remember this more clearly than I. If I recall, Ford came out with a 2-way tailgate first.
In '69.
Yeah, no, before '69, wasn't it?
But I had a '69 LCD.
Yeah, the LTDs had the 2-way tailgates.
Right.
I think, and then GM was way slow to adopt it.
Yeah, they were the last ones to come across with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ford had it first.
But Rambler or AMC, that's when they changed it from Rambler to AMC, was a 4-door, a 2-door, pull it out or pull it down.
Yeah.
And then the window went down electric, or you could pump it down with the hand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the crank.
Yeah, if you had like you bought a base model, like a Bel Air wagon, you'd have to crank it down.
Right, yes.
If you had an Impala, you'd have and you ordered the electric windows, you had the electric.
Right.
Yeah, I remember those.
Well, you did good. You got Cherokees. That come off the top of my head just now.
Well, I know the Cherokee brand, that's for sure, but I don't recall, to be honest with you, I don't recall AMC. AMC Cherokee, you said, right? Or Rambler.
Well, it's in '66. It would be AMC because that's when they switched.
They switched, yeah.
They took the name off of Rambler and went to AMC.
Yep.
American Motors Corporation.
Yep.
And that was a. I can remember now. I see when the Rambler shows on AMC, it was a '66 Ambassador wagon, two-toned with nice stripe down there, and the gate you could pull it down if you want to load stuff in, or you could load stuff and pull it, and it would go to the left-hand side.
Yeah, the AMC I liked the most was that little four-door sedan they built. What's it called? American? The
American, yes, that's the small one.
Nice, clean, crisp lines.
Mm-hmm.
Little six-cylinder, four-door sedan. Nice shop machine.
An iron engine too.
Yep. And
iron engine.
We used to sell a lot of those, and basically people my age now would come in and buy them. They were good, conservative little machines.
And they were the first ones to come out really with cars that were going to be good for gas.
Yes, it was a frugal car. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
An old lady's car.
Yeah, they were frugal. Yeah, they were very frugal on gas.
Yes.
But Americans at that time were frugal too. They were savers, hard workers. They didn't believe in, credit cards were just starting. They weren't buried in debt. They understood what debt meant. Debt was slavery unto the lender. And today everything's upside down now. So hey.
You remember on the Little American, Ralph, where the shift was in the dashboard alongside the column, almost in the column?
Yeah,
the Little American.
It had a lever or push button. No, that wasn't.
No, it was a lever. It wasn't no push button.
Yeah, right. It was. Yeah. Yeah, it was almost into the dash. It was at the bottom.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like near the bottom of the column where it met the dash.
Stuff like into the column, not like some that were high up on the column. This was right down near the dashboard.
You got it.
Yeah. Okay.
You got it.
All right, Ralph. You're learning too quick here, but you don't need help from the outside.
No, we don't cheat. We tell you.
I know. I don't cheat either.
No, we don't cheat.
Nope.
No. There's enough cheaters in the world, Billy.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yep. Okay. Give us a call here if you have any questions about cars and automobiles at 996-0500, and we can talk about anything you want to talk about on your mind, and about cars, what have you. We have a great selection of cars, and talk about some of these cars right now. We've got some great Subarus in stock, and you can check them out. We got a 2004 Subaru Forester premium package. It's priced at under $8,500. We've got a 2012 Volkswagen GTI two-door. Great car for a person who commutes or a young person who likes a car that's sporty, because the GTI is certainly sporty. This car is clean as a whistle, being a 2012. It's priced at under $17,000. Another Subaru Outback. Of course, it's all-wheel drive. The Outback has a little higher, the Outback has a slightly lower roof line than the Forester. This one is also priced at under $8,500. And this is a good value for a 2007. Let's see, this Chevy Silverado, that's sold. Can't talk about that. I have another Subaru Forester, an 03 Forester. Clean, 65,000 miles, priced at under $8,500. And the Lincoln's gone. Got a 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo Silver. Clean, clean, clean. A nice ride. That's the new generation style. If you like the Jeep Grand Cherokees, this has the new Pentastar 6-cylinder in it, priced at under $17,000. A very good value compared to buying a new one for around $40,000. So you can definitely get lower payments and still enjoy a nice vehicle. And this is the new generation, so it's the it's the new style, because they evolve over times every 4 or 5 years or so into production. Got a really nice 2000 Volkswagen Jetta GL Red. It's a stick shift. I'm driving it myself, as a matter of fact. 89,000 miles. It priced at just $4,000, $39.99. A superior value for that kind of money. And the car runs like brand new. I'm looking at it right now. It's right outside the door here, Matt. It's red, and it's clean inside. It really runs good and strong. I'm really impressed. I like Volkswagens anyway. I kind of grew up working on those cars way back. But it's a superior value if you're looking for a nice car for sharp money and low mileage. It's just there are very few cars that you're going to find priced at $4,000 that give you this gas mileage, and then they're all banged up. It's clean. It's a nice car. It's nice inside, nice outside. One prerequisite though, you have to know how to drive a shift, and I guess there's less people, younger people, who know how to do that nowadays, like many other things in life. Got a nice little '03 Dodge Ram maxi van, 2500. It's clean as a whistle. That's an excellent van for a carpenter, electrician, mason. It's a 3/4 ton, 41,000 miles on it. It's priced at under $8,500. So if you have a business, janitorial, you clean up businesses, what have you, or a mason, carpenter, electrician, plumber, boiler guy, it's a good little van, a work van for the money. Got a nice clean '04 Wrangler that we have in stock right now, priced at under $8,500. And wait a minute, excuse me, I'm dyslexic here, reading these numbers across this computer sheet. This '04 Wrangler is priced at just under $11,000. The van is priced at under $8,500. I apologize. An '06 Jeep Grand Cherokee, black, priced at under $10,000. That's another nice clean Jeep. We're getting ready. I think that's about to be on the lot, or soon to be on the lot if it hasn't arrived already. A Commander, an '07 Jeep Commander. That's a 7-passenger vehicle. It's built pretty much on the same chassis as the Jeep Grand Cherokee, okay, except they put the third row seats in it and a little higher roof line. It has what they call stadium seating, so the people in back are sitting a little higher, so they can look forward out the car. They don't feel like they're buried in the back. That's what they call stadium-type seating in this Commander, and it's a 7-passenger, so if you have kids, youngsters, or even if you occasionally have to carry some extra people, this can do it. And it's priced at under $10,000, and it's a 6-cylinder, so it's frugal on fuel as well. And we have the smaller Jeeps as well, the '07 Jeep Compass. It's a sport, automatic, and the mileage is under 100, and it's priced at under $8,000. So if you need a nice little all-wheel drive Jeep, very frugal on fuel, and easy to park. And if you're a commuter, or if you do a lot of driving, it's certainly something to consider. Got a nice, clean '02 Chrysler Concorde. It's not as fancy as the Lincoln, but it's on the similar lines. It's a nice, solid ride. It's an LXI. It has only 78,000 miles, so its mileage is very low for a 2002, and it's priced at under $5,500. So it's a superior value for a nice car. If you like a nice ride, and if you go out another couple, there's plenty of room in the back seat. You comfortably can stretch out. The Concords were known for a very good ride and a lot of room inside. And they were priced reasonable when they were new back in the day. Let's see, we have a real clean '07 Jeep Liberty, limited, black, 88,000 miles, priced at under $11,000. We had it sold, but unfortunately the person could not get finance. They had some issues they had to work out. So I believe that's back on the market, but it's a mint clean Jeep if you're looking for something nice. It's a 6-cylinder, 3.7 liter, and it's the mileage at 88,000 miles is exceptionally low. And when you look at the car, it's obvious it's extremely clean. And we have several trucks as well. A nice '07 Dakota SLT Club Cab with 59,000 miles. So it's an '07 with 59,000 miles, very, very clean, priced at under $14,000. And this is as the, little jump seats in the back. It's a 4-wheel drive. So it's got, you can get around, and it's not too big, but it's big enough, okay? You're not driving like a big rig like an F-250 or a 2500 GMC Sierra, where it's a little tougher to park and get into and out of, for that matter. And it's also much more reasonably priced, but it's still a substantial, a decent-sized truck. And you can pretty much load up all kinds of stuff in it and throw your tools in the back as well. And they'd be inside the cab, a little harder to steal. So these are the things. We have some other trucks I can get into later. We can talk about other cars as we get closer. Some of the articles out there, Americans drove more than 3 trillion miles last year. 3 trillion miles. That's a lot of miles, huh? Americans renewed their long-standing love affair with the automobile in 2015, challenging the notion that millennials and baby boomers alike are abandoning their cars for public transit, bikes, and car sharing. Yeah, I guess with the lower fuel too. Public transit, well, a lot of people, I guess if you can afford a car, you're not going to ride the bus, right? Bikes, I'm not against bikes, except, unfortunately, I used to take a bike to work years back, and I'll tell you, it's pretty, it's daunting, actually. I used to remember riding down Route 6. You're taking your life in your hands with the public out there today, and driving. And this is back in the 80s. I used to take a bike to work. Everybody says, well, you're in a car business, you're taking a bike to work. Well, I did it because it kept in shape. But I got to say, it was dangerous then. Today, it's got to be double dangerous. But let me get into this article. We've got a caller here before the clock runs out. Caller, are you there? Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Billy?
No, Ralph.
Ralphie.
Hey.
Billy.
Yeah. Billy.
Deb. How you doing, hon?
I'm doing well, Deb.
A song that I thought of, and I'm not sure who the father's name was, but he was with Glenn Miller Band. The daughter's name, last name's Barber, I believe, and there's a song called Just for the Thrill of It. I didn't know if you could connect any dots.
Well, I don't know. Who is
Her last name is Barber, I believe. But their father was with the Glenn Miller Band. But the song is Just for the Thrill of It. Oh, did you ever get Top Cat running with that oddball caddy he's got?
Who's this?
Top Cat. Taylor Cormier. Did you ever get him going with that oddball caddy? He's got that.
We patched him up. We put some dye in it, but we haven't checked it to see where his leaks are coming from.
You patched him up?
Well, we looked at his car. We told him he had a significant oil leak, and we put dye in it to try to trace it. So he hasn't come back yet, so we could find out where it's coming from, see if it's something easy to get at and reasonable to fix, or
she's kind of an oddball year, isn't she? Like
what does he have, an 06 or something? I forget.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's got now, but one time he had one that was, anytime I won't buy anything that's got a one or 2 year parts into change, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you can dig up that song, Just for the Thrill of It, is the name of it.
Yeah, all right. If I get time, I'll try to look at it.
Yeah. Well, maybe next week. 51 degrees.
51. Well, it's not bad, is it?
No.
Just last night was what, in the 30s, right?
I had 27 here this morning at 4 o'clock when I came in.
Well, the heat had to be on then, right?
Hey. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Well, we're getting close to the news here. Back to my article here. Rather than keep it waiting on the line. Let's see. Last year, U.S. Motors drove more than 3.148 trillion miles. Now, a billion is 1,000 million. Okay? So a trillion is 1,000 billion. Did I say that right? I think so. So that's a lot of miles, no matter how you slice it. Drove more than 3.148 trillion miles. More than any other year in history, according to data released by the Federal Highway and Traffic Administration. And about 17 million new cars and trucks were sold in 2015, an increase of nearly 6%, and a level of car commerce not seen since 2000. Why? Well, the FAA, which logs mileage driven by cars, bus, truck drivers, is reluctant to speculate. We just know there are more cars out there and they're going farther. Maybe today people rather drive than go through the airports and be felt up going through security and all this, putting up with all the hassles too. So, and airfares now are not that cheap either. They, in spite of fuel being, less than half, the airlines, obviously can would make more money just because the jet fuel has come down so much too. But the tickets haven't really gone down that much at all. If anything, they've increased. So it's a problem. Okay, folks, we'll continue this on the other side of the hour. Thank you for listening to All About Cars with Ralph Medeiros. Stay with us with the news, and we'll be back after about 7-8 minutes. You're listening to WBSM 1480. We'll be back.
WBSM.com.
Okay, we're back with the second hour of All About Cars with Ralph Medeiros. I own and operate Ralph's Auto Center. We're located in the north end of New Bedford on Church Street, 867 Church Street, right off of Route 140. Just take exit 5, put you on Church Street, head down Church Street on the right-hand side, right after Regal House Furniture. We're just a couple of buildings down, right after Webb and Dollar General, right beside there, directly opposite of New Bedford Vocational's faculty service entrance, okay, where most of the buses and things go in and out of, well, not all the buses, but a fair amount of them, and directly opposite of their entrance. So we're very easy to get to. We're just minutes off the highway, not a traffic light or a stop sign. And Andrew's there today, and you can come by and talk to him about automobiles. And we offer many different services as well. If you've inherited a car in the family because maybe someone can't drive any longer, your wife, or maybe your parents, we can help you sell that car. We've done it for dozens and dozens of people, whatever the situation. And we can, you don't have to deal with putting it in the paper, all kinds of strangers coming to your house, snooping around. And we can help you get off the car, make sure all the paperwork's done right, the car is represented right, it's detailed, it's serviced out, it's safe, it's reliable. Get a sticker. You're not going to be dealing with all the hassles and issues that come up when people sell cars, especially the paperwork. And we make sure everything's done right where there's no issues, okay? We represent you, but we also are fair with the seller as well, so everybody's on the same page. So if you're in that situation, you've inherited a car, or you have an extra car you want to get off of, and we can get you fair market value for the car, and generally that's more than you're going to get, because we know how to market cars, we know how to represent them properly, make sure they're in good shape and ready to go. So we put the necessary investment in these cars to make them right, so the next buyer doesn't have any issues. And if your car, qualifies, I mean, we've had some people bring us cars that are just way too far gone, and their sense of what they're worth versus the market reality is two different issues here. So we have to, some people come to us with cars that are just way too beat up to sell to people with confidence, okay? So that's the minority, I have to say that. We've had some people come in with some very nice cars. Some take a little bit of elbow grease to make them come back. That's okay. That's our business. We know how to do that. And a lot of folks, we've sold some very nice cars and helped people out who, free up some cash for them, and also help the buyers as well. They got a good buy. So, our services are usually negated by we getting more of a fair price than you would. So really, in many cases, it doesn't really cost you anything, and you don't have to deal with the hassle. We deal with all the hassle, and we know how to, some of the riffraff we can deal with it. We're used to dealing with that too, so you don't have to put up with that. So if you're in that situation where you've inherited a car, or you have a car that you or your wife can't drive any longer, please look us up. See Andrew and myself, and we can explain to you how it works and help you get off the car. We market the cars worldwide. We're on the internet, and so we spend a ton of money on the internet, and we have people call us from all over the state, all over New England, all over the country, all over the world. So sometimes some cars move faster than others. Other cars can sit for weeks, months, depending on demand. There's just different markets out there. But check it out. We got a caller here. We'll take this caller. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, good afternoon. A question to you regarding timing belt on a car.
Okay.
Should you go by the manual itself, or it depends how the car is running?
Okay. You mean on whether or not to replace the timing belt?
Right.
Well, your car you're driving, what does the manufacturer recommend?
120, the Volkswagen Passat.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't take it past 120 if you're asking my opinion, no.
Really?
Yeah. No, you're tempting the devil. Because, you're going to have to... I'm sorry?
Once the timing belt snaps, it kind of damages all the other...
Well, yeah, if you have what they call an interference engine, if your engine's an interference engine, meaning if the timing belt snaps and the pistons can hit the intake or the exhaust valves, that's an interference engine. And, yes, you'll do hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of damage, and sometimes totally destroy the engine. Other times, at the very least, the head has to come out, and it should be looked at by a professional machine shop to, replace the valves and resurface the head.
Okay, my vehicle just turned over 99,000 in 2007.
Yeah.
I know that's coming up, but I hope to trade it in before that time.
Well, I mean, I mean, it's probably cheaper to fix it than make a bigger bill and a bigger payment, right?
That's true. That's true.
I mean, when you think of it that way, I mean, a timing belt on that car, I'm guessing you're probably going to be $500, $700. I can get you a more accurate price, but just going from the top of my head.
Yeah, easy.
So that would be a hell of a lot cheaper, a couple of car payments, than making another 6 years, 7 years in car payments at $300, $350, right?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, the math is there.
Yeah, yeah. Did you own this car since new?
Well, it's paid for. I financed it for 2
Well,
years.
if it's paid for, it's even better. I mean, it's better for you. I mean, obviously, but and if you do the timing belt, of course, you would do the water pump, possibly an idler, to make the job right.
Once you do one thing, another, you're like interfering with another thing, right?
Well, no, but if you're going to have a water pump, if you're going to do a timing belt, generally if your water pump's embedded in there, you do the water pump also, and possibly an idler. You'd have to see what the manufacturer recommends or is a good advice to do.
Yeah, I'm just reading the manual as I go along. Because I keep up with my oil changes. They check my belts and everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this belt is much more internal, but yeah. What do you have, 1.9?
Passat, it's turbo.
2.4 or 1.9 then, right? 1.9?
Right.
1.9 turbo, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's 1,898 cc's to get exact.
The gas mileage is awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yours is turbo?
Yes, it's turbo.
Yeah, if you keep your foot out of the turbo, you do pretty good with it, with gas mileage.
Yes.
And but the Volkswagen makes a nice car, but you do have to stay on maintenance. It's just the way life is. I mean,
just like any other car.
Yeah, the German cars are very precise, but they do require that you stay with them. I mean, they deliver good mileage, but the typical American way is just drive them and suck the life out of them and not put the necessary maintenance into it. And that's when people have problems. And certain cars are unforgiving on timing belts. There's certain Kias that recommend belts at 60, and certain Daewoo's and certain GM products, which are built by GM Daewoo, that had belts. And they recommend, I think some recommend as low as 60,000 miles to replace the belt. And I know people who've neglected it, and they've blown the engines up, and they've gone through some pretty expensive circumstances to get them fixed,
right.
or trade it in, do something dumber, and they trade it in and go back into the hole, back into the hole of debt again. So it just, everybody makes their own decisions.
I hear you. Another thing, should I be on my cell phone while driving? Is there a new law?
No, they haven't passed the law yet. Some people shouldn't be on their cell phone driving because they just don't have enough horsepower to drive and talk. So that's another argument. But right now they have not passed the law in Massachusetts. Connecticut has a restrictive law. I believe New Hampshire. I think New Hampshire or Maine.
Yeah, I know Massachusetts was talking about it, but I thought I heard something that they were ready to pass the law.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
There was somebody
Anyways,
distracted.
Thanks for the advice, and enjoy your program.
Well, if you want a quote on that, bring it by. And if you're going to take it to the Volkswagen dealer, it's going to cost you a lot more dough.
Yeah.
But if you want to pay more money, that's up to you. But
over there is unbelievable.
What's that? I'm sorry?
Everything at the Volkswagen dealer is more expensive.
Well, if you want to spend more money, that's up to you.
Yeah.
That's up to you. But if you want to save a buck, then have us look at it, and we can give you a quote on it.
Just as good of a job, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Timing belts. There's not much. There's no. It's kind of like heart surgery. You do it right. If it's wrong, the patient doesn't survive, right?
I hear
Same goes for the engine. So.
And you guarantee your work.
Yeah.
All right, no problem.
All right, my friend.
Okay. Good talking to you.
Thank you for the call. 996-0500, 996-0500. Give us a call here. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have about cars. And got to drop this call here. There we go. And maybe help you with a problem. Timing belts, though, is something you shouldn't fool around with. A lot of people tempt the devil. I know a lady who had a Chevrolet Aveo, and she didn't do a timing belt, and it let go at 65,000. The manufacturer recommended it 60. Now that's a relatively low mileage replacement for those type of belts. Generally, they're 80, 100, 110. I think Honda has one that goes to 120 or 115. They vary a little bit. But it's something, if you do have a timing belt, they should be replaced at, or be slightly before, if you will, the manufacturer's recommendation. And if you got a young person driving and they're really on it all the time and pushing it, revving it up, and really just taking the life out of it, borderline from use to abuse, then maybe they should even do it sooner. Because when they do let go, and you have an interference engine, it's a very expensive repair. Generally, people wipe out the engines, and sometimes you can bring them back. Other times you just replace the whole engine, depending on how bad the engine blew. Some of the newer engines are getting away from belts. They're going to chains because they're running turbos. They're just taking some of these small block engines, and they're really revving them up more, running them harder and harder, and especially with turbos. Some have superchargers, and the belts make it just far too likely they're going to blow it up. We got a caller here. Very good afternoon to you, caller. Hello.
Yes. Hi, Ralph.
Hi.
Yeah. I got a question about the headlights. How come some headlights are so much brighter than others?
Well, that's a good question. Some of the manufacturers now are coming out with the lenses, the parabolics on them are very precise, and they're putting LEDs. Some have some high-intensity discharge lamps in them as well, some of the more expensive cars. And also some people, if you see some cars go by you and they're older, they'll replace the lamps the inside, and they put a higher wattage bulb in there, and they are blinding. And they might.
Isn't that regulated? I know they used to test your headlights. They had a stick on the wall, and
I think the inspectors and the registry have been behind the curve on this one.
They sure have.
Yeah, the newer cars, the lights, the lenses, the parabolics of the lens, okay, the way the light is dispersed from the lamp, okay, they're much more precise. And sometimes if a car's coming over a hill and it catches you right, they're very bright, just like you say. But their light beam is very articulated to hit the road at a certain point. So generally they don't bother you unless they catch you at the right angle. But other people with average cars, with average lens, which aren't that great, they replace the lamps, which generally the lamps inside those cars are incandescents, some are halogens, and they run around 55 watts. But sometimes they put a much more intense, much more brighter, higher wattage lamp, and that's what makes it blinding on low beam.
I wish they'd standardize it so they were all the same brightness. You'll be going along in 5 or 6 cars with the regular brightness, and all of a sudden one comes along and wham! It blinds you.
What color is the light coming at you? Is it like a bright blue or like a greenish? Do you notice
white? Like a whitish.
A bright white, yeah. They generally replace those. What happens is some of the younger people replace the lamp inside the headlight bezel with a brighter bulb. Think of it that way. A lamp should be called a lamp, but it's a bulb in layman's terms. They'll put a brighter bulb. So instead of taking 50 watts, they'll put a bulb in there that takes 60 or 65, and it puts out more looms, so it's more blinding when it passes you or I. And to add to insult to injury, they usually have their fog lamps on. So they have.
It used to be where all the headlights were the same. Now they're all different.
Well, they are different, and it definitely is an area that the registry should be clamping down on. I think so, because when you're driving at night, some of these guys are really.
Wow.
And if you hit your highlights, they're more than happy to blind you, hit hit with their highlights. But they're in violation of the code. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Okay.
Some of the new cars, like the new high-end cars, the high-end Beamers, the high-end Jags, the high-end, Mercedes, have very articulated lamps on them. Okay, they're very bright but very precise. So they generally don't bother you. Okay, unless they catch you at if they're coming over a hill and they catch you at the right angle, you might get them for a few seconds. But generally, they try to direct it. The lamps, the light, the parabolic lens tries to direct the light more on the road at a certain pattern. Okay,
yeah, they used to tow it in, right?
In the old days, you used to adjust them. Today, they don't really do much of that. It's unless it's so far off, it's lighting the trees up, and somebody will say, "I got to adjust my headlight because I hit something, and the light's out of adjustment." Okay, that happens. But these new ones are all a lot of them are preset. There's very little adjustment, and if you hit your bumper and you knock out your headlight bezel a little bit, and then you're going down the street with a lamp blinding people, or it's facing up in the sky, or these days you see everything. It's like we're going back to a third world nation. It's like the people you see riding around. Think about this. when someone broke their rear brake light lens, right? So instead of being red, the lens is broken off, which is plastic today, and when they hit the brakes, it absolutely blinds the driver in the back because it's a white light coming at you. And a lot of people don't want to fix it because they're expensive. Now, some people who have a little bit of civic responsibility will put a red tape over it or something to try to mitigate it. But in the old days, the police would pull you over, or you definitely couldn't get a sticker with that because it's blinding to the driver in the back. But I see that often driving around town. That's not uncommon.
When you get your sticker, do they still test them?
The headlights? I don't think most places don't put them on a patent on the shop on a board anymore. I don't think that's that common. Maybe there's a few shops that still do it, but unless they see. That
was one of the safety checks.
Yeah, well, they might check your lights to make sure the lamps work and make a judgment call by looking at them. And if they don't look like they're adjusted properly, they'll probably have you, step back and look at the lamp, look at the patent on the board.
I can do that.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks for the question.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Hello?
Hi.
You're talking about lights on cars.
Correct.
Have you seen blue lights on cars?
Yep. I was just talking about it.
Oh, what do you think about that?
I think they should. I don't think they should be allowed to put a lamp in that's brighter than the law states. Okay, because they're blinding drivers.
My way of thinking on them is I would prefer white as opposed to blue.
Well, the blue, that's much brighter. Yes, it's blinding to you or I when they're passing us, correct? Or we're passing them. But, you're right, because they put these high-intensity blue lamps in that have higher wattage. And they...
Go ahead.
Yeah, and they blind you going by.
Why are automobile dealers putting them on cars if we're going to change them anyway in some cases?
Well, no, the dealers aren't putting them in. The dealers wouldn't break the law knowingly. That's you or I going to an auto shop store, pot store, and buying or ordering a brighter lamp, a brighter bulb to put in there, okay? And they do it. And most of the younger kids do it because they'll put a different color bulb in there, and it'll be a blue light. Some are green light, some are pinkish. They have different looks, so that's what they do. And it's they put a brighter lamp in there, and when they pass other drivers, they're blinding them. Okay, so it's a problem. It's definitely a problem. So
tell me, have you gotten any calls from the law with regards to those lights today?
I'm sure the registry has had some complaints, but the registry has to get on the inspectors to check them, and when they see those kind of things come in, they got to reject them and have them replace them. And then they put the old lamps back in and get the sticker, and then they'll flip them back after. So then it becomes the police job amongst all the other things they're doing in this crazy world of ours. So it's we're at where we're at. I mean, there's most of these people aren't civic-minded, thinking that they're blinding other drivers. They don't think that far in advance. Okay, it's all about them.
I'm thinking I'll let you go on, but here's what I think about it. If I was a police officer and I had to see that and I didn't like it and I gave you a ticket, well, that's a fact that that those lights are not the most safest things you can have on the road.
No, absolutely not. I agree.
What would you say to him or her or whatever?
Well, I just say, look, here's a ticket. You're in violation of these, haven't inspected, and if it's not fixed, you're gonna, that's it. You pay the ticket, pay $50, $100, whatever the violation is, and get them replaced.
If I went to an automobile dealership or a bike dealership that deals in motorcycles and they had those blue lights, I'd have them take them off.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's so much the tint of the bulb as the intensity of the light of the bulb. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just basically in your house, if you have a lamp and you have a 40-watt bulb in it, right? And then you replace it and put a 100-watt bulb in it, it's going to be much brighter in that room, right? Same idea. Same idea. So that's...
Here's another one I thought about. What would you say if you're going down the street at night and a car in back of you has blue lights? Wouldn't that throw you off?
Well, it'd be in your mirror, and you'd have to readjust your day-night mirror, put it on a night pattern because it'd be blinding you in your rearview mirror, yeah. Or your side mirrors, depending on how they're adjusted, yeah. Uh-huh.
I'd be doing a double take. I never seen any... I've seen them, but never in a situation where I'm the driver because I'm 65 and I never had a driver's license. But I've been in cars, and I have seen those lights, whether I'm in cars or not, and I don't like them.
I hear you.
Maybe it's a fashion statement, but...
No, it's a fashion statement. You're right.
Going to get you in the hospital.
That's well said. It's well said. It's a fashion statement, and they do it, and they do blind drivers. I've seen these at SEMA Auto Show. They have these vendors there, they sell these brighter lamps, and they tell you on the box sometimes these may not be compliant with state laws or federal laws, and they tell you right on there, so that they're giving you a disclaimer that, check, make sure these are in compliance, which they know. Everybody winks. They know they're not in compliance. And
I don't know what they're doing around the license plates of the cars, but I've seen many cars with lights around the underpass of the door there.
Yeah.
I like that. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But
lights underneath the license plate.
When you get into your car, underneath the door, there's lights.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Well,
but other lights like those lights I'm complaining about, I'd have a problem with. I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, some of the cars.
That's pretty,
Yeah, well, they have some lights. I know what you're talking about. Well, some have the rocker panels will have LEDs in the rocker panels if it's an SUV. And they make some lamps that go underneath the wheel wells and underneath the floorboards, underneath the chassis of the car, which I think they're regulated as well in Massachusetts. There's a law for everything in Massachusetts. So.
Oh, there's a problem with them then?
I don't think they're legal in this state, putting them in the wheel wells and things like that. I think they're in violation, technically, of one of our laws in our books.
Most cars you see those things on are cars that are the body. It looks like it's so close to the ground.
Yeah.
You wonder what the heck isn't that scratching the body itself?
Well, some of these kids, some of these mushrooms going around will put these low-profile wheels. They'll have like a 40 profile tire on there, and they lower the chassis down. And if they hit a high-covered manhole cover, we've seen them rip out base pans, damage subframes. Grab the A-frame. We've seen a lot of damage. Yeah, sure. Some of these they just take it too far.
Another subject that's interesting to me: those tires that look like they're so low, and they look like they're flatter than pancakes.
Well, yeah, they don't have.
I understand they get pumped up a bit when they go a little faster on the road or something.
Well, you're talking like the low-profile tires, like a 40. In other words, there's not much rubber between the rim and the face of the tire.
Not much rubber between the rim and
the face of the tire, right?
Yeah. Boy.
Yeah. And when you hit a bump, they knock your fillings out.
Yeah. I was going to say,
they knock your fillings out.
Guys?
Or you hit a pothole, you bend the rim. They square the rim. We see this all the time. Yeah. And especially the roads.
You're only about an inch or so from the rim, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. It looks cool. It looks cool until you hit a pothole.
Yeah, I can't imagine having a car with rims like that in snow.
In snow, you go nowhere.
Yeah.
Even all-wheel drives, they're terrible. Those low-profile tires like that are terrible in snow. That's why you don't see SUVs with those type of tires. They'll have a 75 profile on the sidewall. So, yeah, because they grip better. Absolutely.
Imagine it's nice and fair out there, and you're going to the mall, to a theater or something.
Yeah.
You're spending about 2 to 3 hours in there, and then you're going into the mall itself, and you're spending another 2 to 3 hours in there. And you get outside, it's snowing like crazy. And what happens? You got one of those kind of cars with a little tires like that, you're up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah, they're slip sliding everywhere, or they hit your car because they can't stop. That's what happens.
I like those big tires they used to have on cars, not those small things.
Yeah. Well, you can go extremes there too, like monster mudders. And I saw a Jeep Wrangler. They removed the outer fender well, which is plastic. It's like it keeps the water from spraying, spinning up, if you will, outside of the wheel well. They removed this. It's actually the lip molding that goes along the fender is actually part of the wheel well on the Wranglers. And they had these big monster mudders. Now, that's definitely in violation of the codes, but they drive around because the water spins up if you ever see it driving in the rain. But they get away. There's not much enforcement today of pretty much everything out there. So, well, thank you for.
You know about race cars?
Well,
like that.
A little bit, yeah.
Earlier today, I saw a commercial for Ford.
Okay.
And the Ford had a car that I think it's publicly street savvy.
Street legal?
God, it was a beaut. It looked like a race car.
Yeah. Yeah, Ford's, well, they have the Shelbys and other Ford Mustangs that are hopped up, and they also have a full-blown race car, Formula One race car as well. Ford does make some, and Toyota was involved in some pretty heavy-duty racing. They all do to put a name out there. Mm-hmm.
This car, I'd like to go to Ashley and see if they have it, because I think that's the best thing I've seen.
Yeah.
The Mustang, when it came out about 1995 or 96.
Yeah,
they were souped up and everything. Yeah. They were on a TV show called Knight Rider.
Yeah, Cal Shelby had the Shelby Mustangs. They had the Roush Mustangs as well. These guys are, very high-tech mechanics and race teams, and they build some very precise machines. I got to let you go. Get on the caller, though.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling. Thank you. Very good afternoon, caller.
Listen to the radio.
Hi, you're on.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm better than I deserve.
That's good. I have a 2010 Chevy Malibu.
Okay, 2010 Chevy Malibu. Okay,
yeah. And sometimes the engine light comes on and off, on and off, on and off. But for the past 2 weeks, it's staying on. It does not go off at all.
Okay. How long have you been experiencing it going on and off?
For about a month.
Okay. And has anyone read the codes for you?
No.
How many miles do you have on this vehicle?
How many miles? About 56,000.
Okay. And have you kept it up, generally speaking?
Yes. Very well taken care of. I'm the only one that drives it and everything.
Uh-huh. But, I mean, you do more than just oil changes. You keep up on it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to say what it is because there are hundreds of different codes, if not thousands of codes when you get down to it. Proprietary as well as generic codes. Mm-hmm. Very often it could be something simple, like your gas cap is not sealing well and you're getting an evap leak.
Yeah.
It could be numerous things like that. It can be something minor and simple like that. Replacing your gas cap or lubricating the gasket around there, if you want to try to be frugal. But we can read that code for you. We don't charge you to read it and give you some advice.
Okay.
Have you been by to see us?
I went by today, but it was closed.
Yeah, the mechanics don't work today.
That's fine,
after
no problem.
12. Yeah, it's hard to catch anybody there. But sales is open. But during the week, Ulysses is there. Ulysses Santiago. He's the service manager, and he can read the code, tell him you were talking to me on the radio, and give you some advice.
Okay,
and,
that's very good.
We give you some good guidance, but it could be something simple, like an evap leak or possibly a misfire. Maybe you said 60,000 miles?
It doesn't have 60 on it yet, no.
Did you buy it new?
I was the second owner, but I've had it for, 5 years, I think.
Okay. And most you're driving in the city or commuting? Or?
Mostly the city.
Yeah. Well, you could possibly have a misfire there, too, if you're doing all city driving and it gets a little loaded up. It's hard to say over the radio with any, preciseness.
Okay.
What exactly would it be. But, I mean, talking to you, it's with that kind of mileage.
I'll stop in at your shop on Church Street.
Ulysses, or if I'm there, we can look at it and go from there for you, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your patience and calling.
Bye-bye.
Yep, bye-bye. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Hello, Ralph. Are we on?
Yes, you are, sir.
Okay. Let me shut my radio down. Just a quick thought about the high beams. I agree with you. I agree with some of the callers. Yep. They are kind of distracting when somebody pulls up with those new white or blue light, high, not high beams, but they just seem so intense. It just distracts you.
They're blinding.
It seems to me a little inconsiderate of them to do that.
But that's the whole society, my friend.
That's the whole society.
Right.
I was wondering, have you ever I don't have those kind of beams on mine. Has anybody ever experimented and seen if they were aimed a little bit lower, would that cut down on the direct line between the driver of that car and the guy in front who gets blinded a little bit.
But,
if they were aimed a little, if they were forced to be aimed a little bit down, the driver with them would still get the wide swath of intense light, and it would just be a little bit, it would focus a little bit further towards him. You know what I'm saying?
These lamps, are all regulated by the Department of Transportation.
Right.
Okay, they have to be DOT approved when the manufacturers make them. They have to follow very specific guidelines for the very subject we're talking about, not blinding oncoming drivers.
But they do.
Well, they do because the people who are doing this replace the lamps, like I said earlier.
These are replacement.
Well, people, like if you're in your house and you have to simplify, if you have a 40-watt bulb in your lamp, and I put a 100-watt in, the room's going to be a hell of a lot brighter.
Right.
So these mostly young people go out and put these cool-looking lamps on. They'll replace the bulb with a lamp in the technical term, and they'll put
the little lamps.
Instead of a 40-watt or a 50-watt, they'll put a 60 or a 75-watt. So now when they come at you, it's like, whoa, what the hell's going on?
Those are sold legally.
Right. They say right on the box, these, make sure you're in compliance. They dissolve their liability by saying if you put them on, you check with your local authorities. Like, okay. It's just like when I sold Jeeps.
Right.
Jeeps, in certain states.
You can have those because you take them off-road.
Not many. Well, off-road's a whole different subject now. Yeah. That's a good point. Okay, off-road, you hit a nerve there because off-road is off-road.
You want.
I mean, you might pass a bear or a deer, but you're not passing you or me.
Right.
But on the road, like certain states have laws that you can't have your fog lamps on and your high beams at the same time.
Right.
Because like certain states, they'll pull you over, like the North Carolina State Police, place like that. Forget it. They're going to write you up.
Sure.
Because they know the rules, and they see you coming at them with the high beams and your fog lamps on. Boom. They're going to write you up.
So these are whole different elements. And I just imagine, Ralph, that no city or state policeman is going to want to or have time to, considering that this is really a small thing in the whole scope of things, is going to be wanting, when he's looking for speeders or whatever, just out on the road, if he sees one of those high beams, he's going to say, this is not my job, to pull them over and see if they have one of those illegal elements in it.
Well, I think they'll know. I mean, if you're coming at them, you're blinding.
Well, you're right.
You're blinding in a state. If you're blinding in a
yeah, right. But since there's such good lighting, the person coming up behind him is going to see the markings of the police car if they come up behind. It would have to be somebody on the side of the road that is out of the way. But even then, he's not going to want to take his time because he's got much more important things to do. Most of them do.
Maybe, but life has events because if you're driving through, let's say, Georgia or North Carolina, and you go by them, you got these super bright headlights in your car that you're violating the code.
Right.
And you go by him, and he notices you have Massachusetts plates. He's going to spin around, write you up because.
So he's going
to say, "Well, we got a Yankee here from the north in violation, and those boys need revenue."
That's like Family Guy. You're always going to get that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure if he pulls over Buford or Vernon, he's going to say, "Buford, you can't run these lights here, boy. You know this." And then, "Okay, buddy, I'll take care of it." And the old game. But if you're an outsider coming through their part of the world,
worse because he knows you're stuck there, and you got to pay, and you're just stuck there. Yeah.
I can remember driving through the South. They had all these places where the police would hold out, writing up all the carpetbaggers coming through. So, for tickets if you were speeding.
Right.
So,
and it also, even with that kind of thing, getting stopped by someone when you're out of state, it depends on the particular cop. Sometimes you can hit it off with anybody. Sometimes they're happy to see somebody from somewhere else.
But these bright headlights are becoming very annoying. It's not just one or two cars out there. This is getting to be.
Especially, Ralph, I just have a very low car. It's like at the most.
I've seen your car.
I don't even want to drive it in the wintertime because I don't want to do what you said a while ago, hit some manhole with the oil pan.
Right.
And it's just, I want to drive it only when it's dry. And it's not because I'm really cheap. I would if I had to in an emergency. But I don't want to because I don't want to be slamming into that snow on the undercarriage, even when you have a pretty good road. You know what I'm saying? You just wax it up and cakes it all up on the underside.
Yep.
And especially you just don't want to, you think of, my God, I got to be very careful with little kids. You don't know where or little animals. Oh, I worry about that. But it would seem to me that I don't know I don't know how you stop it. I don't know how you stop it.
Well, you stop it it's through the inspection process, and then you have to have enforcement too. I mean, like there's so many things happening in our society as we.
It's the last thing you have to really enforce.
Well,
I mean,
it's all part of the.
Right.
Dare I say it? It's all part of the general decline, my friend.
Well, yeah, I guess so. That one seems like it, because it seems like, and obviously inconsiderate, because even these guys who drive with them are sometimes in somebody else's car, and they say, "Hey, where's that coming from?" And they see somebody else shining it on them, and they know it, but they don't care.
Well, it's just like motorcycles with no mufflers, and they come by and they set off alarms. And if you live in near apartments and they're coming up Acushnet Avenue, they wake you up at 2 in the morning. I mean,
there's less of that, I think, than there used to be in the 60s and 70s. Everybody had their hot cars and liked to brag. There's less of that. In some ways, kids are considerate these days. In some ways.
Well,
they don't know, maybe. Some ways.
Maybe they just can't afford to buy these
can't afford
cars.
to buy them. That's another thing too. That's another thing.
I don't know
if older guys don't have a job, then the kids probably don't have a job.
Well, let's put it this way. I don't know about considerate, because when I hear these, for lack of a, they come up with these radios with these 300-watt, 400-watt tubes in the back of the car, and my car's vibrating, your car's vibrating, and you're looking around, where is this music coming from?
My experience, Ralph, in different neighborhoods, not just my neighborhood, but in all the different neighborhoods, you hear less of those boombox or the car radios than you did 10 or 15 years ago. Less of that. Kids are a little more in some way. Let's give them some credit where credit is due.
They probably don't have the money, my friend.
They don't have the money. Okay, so they'll have to buy the cars.
I still hear a lot of those ghetto blasters going around.
Car for nothing. You cannot do that.
Well, I still hear a lot of those ghetto blasters going around town.
Do you really? Yeah, I don't hear as many. Maybe it's just where you happen to be.
Yeah,
well, I don't hear as much. But those lights are aggravating. I don't need for them. There really is no need.
Yeah.
They don't need to see.
Especially with a low car. Yeah,
especially a low car, because it comes right in. I have to flick it. I have to flick the rear view mirror all the time, and I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
It's all right if you're on the highway and you have to flick. You're driving a long way late at night, and very seldom do you have a car. Then you can flick it on. Then at least you're aware of somebody coming up behind you. But I don't like driving that way down city streets with the rear view mirror to the non-blinding position. I just don't like.
I agree. I've driven
and the side mirrors too. You have to.
Some of the mirrors,
too.
You're right. No, it's an issue. It's all comes down to just people being civil in their actions and responsible, and we have an increasingly less responsible.
Well, we're going to have to get a bunch of guys out on the corner, and every time we see one, we're going to have to say, "Hold on there, Buster! Citizens arrest! Citizens arrest!"
Well, I just come out with a shotgun, would take out their lamps, say, "Start over."
In South Carolina. Okay.
See you later.
Nice to speak to you. Bye.
God, I don't want to say. I'm not recommending someone go out with a shotgun and blow out somebody's headlamps. All right, that was just being funny, facetious. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
I was just wondering, is it legal to have a spotlight on your car?
Yeah, you can have a spotlight. Just it can be illegal as to how you use it, but you can have a spotlight like the state troopers used to have.
Yeah, well, years ago in my day, I always had a spotlight on my car.
Absolutely,
but I was wondering if that's still permissible.
Yeah, you can have it. So it's just how you use it. It's going to be a question of whether it's... But, yeah, sure. Some cars, some Jeeps, we used to install them when I was a Jeep dealer. Some of the Wranglers, you put them on each side, kind of like the military police would have or the state police would have, and run it on each side.
I always had in my younger day, I had spotlights, but I was wondering if that was still legal.
But, see, in them days... in them days there was less light, less street light. They weren't as bright, and you had to look for a number on a house or, look around. The lights were, you needed bright lights, a spotlight, and it was very common. The police would come up to you and shine it in your rearview mirror.
In my day, there was quite a few.
Yeah, if they pull you over, they put it in your rearview mirror to kind of blind you and look into the car. They reflect.
If you misused it,
Well, if you're misusing it, you'll get pulled over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But that's a good point. Spotlights now, I only see them on like some off-road vehicles, some military off-road survivalist type vehicles, that kind of thing. You'll see them on vehicles. People go, but you have to order and put them in. Manufacturers won't do it now.
I used to put them in myself.
Yeah, it's a little bit of work, isn't it?
It's a bit of a job, and you have to be careful. You drill the hole right.
Yep. Yeah, it's a little bit of work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit of work. I think the last, let's see, I think I did one for the city of New Bedford many years ago when they picked up a Jeep. We put one in the roof of a Jeep Wrangler when they, I think it was for the school department.
Through the roof, yeah.
Yeah, to plow the sidewalks, and they had a little Jeep. They used to go up on the sidewalks to plow out the walks, and they needed more light. And we put a spotlight, just like you're talking about, with a handle. You can control it from the inside. And it was common. These days, though, it's just not in the.
You don't see them like.
Well, it's not vogue. It's not vogue in a sense.
No.
That you bring up a good point, though. If somebody,
one car had a Pontiac Chieftain 51.
Yep.
I put spotlights on the left and the right side.
Wow, a Chieftain 51. Wow, that's a good-sized car. Yeah.
Oh, that was a straight 8.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. That was a straight 8.
Could really move.
Yeah, straight 8 with a big carburetor on there. Those things. That wasn't. They were a little thirsty.
I went on one time. I went going to Washington D.C. and on a Jersey Pike I was doing 90.
Wow. Yeah, that's cooking. Yeah, that had a pretty good sized fire in it with a straight 8.
Oh, I really liked that car.
Yeah, that's a nice ride. Yeah, but yours.
Thank you for answering my question. I was wondering about that.
Well, it's a good question. You made me think about it. But the spotlights. Actually, today, I'm thinking you're talking to me about this, and I said, "Gee, why isn't somebody out there who's inventive? Maybe I should design it. Come out with a modern one that would be leaner and lighter, with a LED power that'd be bright. You could put under the A pillar, because that's where you mounted yours, is the A pillar of the car. The A pillar is the first pillar that holds the windshield and where the door kisses up against. Okay, that's your A pillar, and they mount them right there generally.
You have to be very careful. You didn't goof up when you were drilling that hole.
Oh, I know. I remember doing them way back. And the old timers would tell me, "Kid, you screw this up, you're going to be very expensive to fix."
Yeah.
And you had to make sure it was sealed tight. You didn't get water inside and all that.
Yeah.
And wire it right, because back then they were incandescent lamps, so they drew a little bit of amperage compared to today's stuff. And those headlamps weren't that cheap either. They were back then they were well made. They were made in America. And it was good stuff.
I used to work in the garage back in 41, and take the little cars. You had to take the lens off and polish them and put them back in the light.
Yeah.
50 cents for a sticker.
50 cents, huh? Well, that's when money was worth. You got to remember too. 41 to now, a nickel then bought what $1 does today. So, right? You buy a candy bar. There was a good sized candy bar for a nickel.
Oh yes, you could buy a lot with a nickel back when I was a kid.
Yeah, today you can't get a decent sized candy bar for $1, right, Matt?
If you had $1, boy, you struck a rich.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Money had some value.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for the call. Good to talk to you, sir, and good contribution.
Thank you. I enjoy your program.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye. Well, give us a call here. We've been busy on the lines here. You can ring us up here at 996-0500. Give us a call here on WBSM. We'll be more than happy to talk about whatever you like. Been a lot of car talk today, which is okay. Speaking about cars, we do service all makes and models of cars. And if you're having a problem with your car, like the lady called about the light on, we read your light. We don't charge you to read the light. We'll give you some good, honest advice about fixing it in the most frugal way possible. Okay, we do a lot of repairs for folks, and we try to, we're aware of a lot of people are struggling to get through the day, and we try to be up front and only do what's necessary. Okay, we don't try to sell you extra services. We're not into that. Okay, if you're into that, shop around. You'll find other people who try to sell you more than you need. We just try to do what's necessary and keep your car running well, and earn a good customer and a happy customer that comes back and does further services with us. That's how we operate, and we can service all makes and models of cars. And if it's something we don't get into, we'll tell you right up front. If there's somebody out there who does a better job at it, they have the computer that does your specific service on your car, because it's almost impossible to have every possible diagnostic tool out there, because you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's market for all these electronics necessary to service some of these cars. And sometimes there's a guy out there who specializes in one specific procedure, and we'll recommend that you go to that person, and they're more efficient at it than we would be. But for the most part, we handle about 95% of pretty much everything that has to be done on a car today, and we can help you in most cases to get you back on the road as inexpensively as possible. So if you're looking for a good shop to take your car to, please consider us. Come by and talk to Ulysses or myself, and we can help you in your service needs, whether you have one car, two cars, or a little fleet, you have a business and you have trucks, buses, what have you. We can work with you and keep you on the road inexpensively. Things like we offer oil changes for automobiles, cars, for 5 quarts of semi-synthetic oil, new filter, for $24.98. That includes tax and disposal, and that's a very good value in today's market. And if you take a quart or two more, you just pay for the quart or two more. Some cars, most cars take around 5 quarts. There are a few out there that take 6, 7, and 8. And synthetics, we have synthetic oil changes that start at under $50. And if you get a car that's fancier, more expensive, some of the German cars, they have higher specifications on filters and on oil, then it'll run you a little bit more. But we're still substantially less than a lot more than most of the dealers out there in some of these oil change shops as well. And we do wiper blades for $15 installed for most cars. Some cars are proprietary blades. You have to buy their specific style, if you will. And those blades do cost more. There's certain brands out there that, or you might have the model that requires a proprietary blade, and we can't put our blades on it. But that's the minority of vehicles. Most people don't have that problem. And Ulysses we also sell a great line of tires, the Falcon tires. It's a good quality tire, probably one of the best value tires out there in the marketplace. When you look at the specs and the price, these guys are solid value. Okay, they're not the cheap tires out there like some of these Asian tires. There's some brands out there that you can buy them cheap, but they don't last that long. These Falcons are a good quality tire that represent a good compromise between you spending a lot of money and buying a top of the line tire like a Michelin. And if you don't want to spend that kind of money, you can get into a good quality tire like a Falcon and save yourself a considerable amount of money. And we do sell a lot of those brands as well as other brands. It doesn't, we do Goodyears and Coopers and Milestar and all these other brands out there. There's all kinds of Asian brands now that are coming into the country. And if you don't do a lot of driving, they could suit you very well. We can put a set of new tires on a car for as low as around $280, $275. That's mounted, balance, taxes, and disposal. For less than $300, that's an outstanding value for 4 new tires. For most of these small cars, the Toyotas and the Hondas, and it represents superior value. And if you commute every day, let's say you go to, Brockton, Boston, Providence, well, you can upgrade a little bit and get a little better tire. If you're driving a fairly serious commute, then it's probably worth to spend a little more dough and invest in a better set of tires. Kind of like when you buy a cheap pair of sneakers and a better built pair of sneakers, okay? There is a difference, okay? You get what you pay for. So we can help you in that way as well. And as I mentioned to you about, if you have a car in the market, if you inherited an extra car and you need help in getting off it, please call Andrew or myself. We can help you there. And we also do detailing on cars with Spring here. You have to make an appointment for that because our detailer is very busy most of the time. And we can help you in detailing, quality professional detailing, tires, all kinds of repairs, from minor oil change to, suspension work, whatever, engine work. We do it all. We get into computers and all that. We can help you in patching your car up and doing it right. Okay, we perfect? No, but we try to strive for perfection. That's the difference. So do look us up. Where are we? We're at 867 Church Street in the north end of New Bedford, right off of Exit 5, off of Route 140. Very easy to get to, not a traffic light or a stop sign. And also, if you're kind of living in an electronic ghetto and you have a lousy radio, I have a great line of radios in stock, and these radios start at $60 and up. And you can get a tabletop for $75, a shortwave tabletop for like around $110, and a top-of-the-line radio for $150. All these prices are well below internet price. If you shop it online, go to Amazon or other vendors, you're going to see that the price I sell them at are less than you're going to pay online. So, and why? Because I order cases of them, and I don't really sell them to make money. It's not going to run the store by any means. It's more of a service out there to get people to just have a better quality radio, so it sounds better when you listen to us here at WBSM. It just sounds better. Radios do wear out. Speakers get tired. They lose their ability to. It's almost like radio dementia. They just can't get other stations. They don't pick up as clearly as they used to. They're not as sharp as they were when they were new. And that's the way life is. And today's radios today, most of the new radios you buy in the marketplace today, and the Walmarts and the Targets and what have you, they're designed to play loudly. They're not really designed to pick up stations and to have the selectivity and the sensitivity. That's the differences. So I can talk to you more about that if you come down and talk to us. So give us a call. The dealership number, just so you know, is 998-1141, 998-1141. And if you're trying to reach me, just call extension 100, ask for Tammy, and she'll track me down. Okay? That's the best way. 998-1141. Extension 100, that's Tammy, and she can track me down if you have any questions you want to talk to me further. I do thank you for listening today, and catch us next week, God willing, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you. Okay? So God bless, be safe, catch you next week.